bitches.
So Meek Mill had a song with the baby. Lil Baby, that leaked this week, and basically in the song he has a lyric that goes, "If I ever lack, I'm going out with the chopper. It be another Kobe." And a lot of people were in uproar about this. And then basically when he faced the backlash on social media behind the lyric, people were still kind of, I guess, upset about Kobe's death and the fact that his kid and his wife and stuff would have to hear that or whatever. He then tweeted, "Somebody promo a narrative and y'all follow it. Y'all internet annex cannot stop me. Shit like Zombieland or something. LOL." Then he tweeted, they paying to influence y'all now. It's almost like mind control. Wake up." So then he faced more backlash after that. People were saying that he was trying to deflect instead of just, I guess, standing up to what he said. And then Kobe's wife came out this morning basically saying, "I find this to be extremely insensitive and disrespectful, period. I'm not familiar with any of your music, but I believe you can do better than this. If you are a fan, fine. There's a better way to show your admiration for my husband. This lacks respect and tact." Right after this, Meek Mill posted something like, "I'm going back to a savage. Fuck your feelings." So a lot of people was like, he was saying that toward Vanessa Bryant. So then he tweeted after that, "I've already apologized in private to her. None of my tweets are directed at her or at Kobe Bryant or at any of that. If y'all so sad about a woman grieving, then y'all need to go ahead and stop talking about this." Basically, I just kind of just throw it out there. Like, what do y'all think on the actual lyric he said? And then all of the after tweeting that went on. What are y'all thoughts on that?
I kind of feel like it all depends on how the buildup is for that bar. Because, like, if it's like some random bar out of nowhere or whatever, it doesn't really ring. It feels like an easy bar. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like the most obvious thing to think of. Like when I was rapping, that's one of those things I kind of had to govern myself about. Like, all right, does this seem like this is way too obvious? Because if it's way too obvious, it's going to be a million other rappers saying the same thing. Like, pretty much. Anytime I hear a story about a bar or a lyric, I always go to all right, the rapper side of me would think this way about this bar, pretty much. So that's why I feel like it would have to be the lead up to make me finally determine, was that even worth putting that in there on a rapper level. Now, as far as insensitivity, like, see, the rapper side of me is like, when I was growing up, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would actually be considered a nice, generous bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, the rappers I was listening to and still listen to say some vicious stuff. But at the same time, I would say it would be some coof with it, like, read the room type deal. And I feel like he has a hard time reading the room. I think Meek Mill himself just has a hard time reading the room in general. And a lot of rappers have a hard time reading the room. Like, because a lot of times they go into rapper mode and they really just trying to, what's going to be the thing to shock them? How is my bar? How, like the ones that's really into lyrics, how is mine going to stick out? Even the ones that's not really into lyrics or whatever, they're still trying to find a way to make their lyrics stick out the most or whatever. And a lot of times when you get in that mode, you don't really read the room pretty much. You're just all up in your own feelings or whatever. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. So I went out. But as far as like once the man's wife comes to you and say, hey, once the man's wife comes to you and say, hey, all right, I feel uncomfortable about this lyric or whatever. If I was in Meek Mill's shoes, I would probably do something to go back in and take that out. Just rewrite it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Now I know with studio constraints and everything, that might be an issue with they're gonna have to work out or whatever, but that's just how I feel about it pretty much. So I can't really be mad at Meek Mills for being Meek Mills or whatever. But I just hope he, as a person, starts to read the room more. That's all.
Gotcha. Yeah. Face, what you think on that?
Now, I have a different take when it comes to rap lyrics, and protection of the freedom of speech. Actually, when it comes to that, because I've heard much worse than that line about Kobe. So I can understand from his actual wife's perspective how she would feel some type of way, or anyone in their family. But outside of that, no one else should have a fucking opinion, because they have no relation to the man himself. Only people with a relation to the man himself should actually have a feeling about something like that at the end of the day. None of them should. You know, I don't feel like it. Anybody with an opinion, shit, either keep it to your fucking self or say it to somebody who cares. But at the end of the day, Meek don't care. So why share your opinion just to be putting it out there? I mean, that's the age we in now, that everyone has something to say and everybody wants to put their opinion out there, even when they're not involved or even when it has remotely nothing to do with them. On this topic alone, shit. Once again, the only people who have the right to say something is his wife, Vanessa, and anybody related directly to him or her, because her family will be grieving from the loss too, because it won't only him, it was his daughter. But I draw attention back to the actual crash. It won't just them that perished that day. It was other families on that same helicopter that perished.
Yeah.
So are we only focusing on Kobe because he was a basketball player? Or, I mean, my mentality is different. Like, my mentality is different when it comes to these so-called celebrities and people, because they're only celebrities on TV. As many other people will not celebrities. At the end of the day, I feel bad for their loss. Just, I'm human. I feel bad for their loss. But outside of that, if my people's pass and somebody make a song about that, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. These young dudes, they out in Detroit or something like that? Where Young Von from? Where King Von from?
Chicago.
Where's from? Chicago. They making songs on whoever packs and whatever, showing the utmost disrespect to the two people that died in the streets, and putting it out there, making millions of them songs around that. You feel me? Ain't nobody saying nothing about that. But the only reason to say something about that, me personally, I feel, because it's a somewhat popular rapper in Meek Mill. He has a track out there, and he's black, Kobe's black, so they want to heighten that. And try to bring that to the limelight. Because if it was two white rappers saying something about somebody, it was two white people, and a white rapper saying something about somebody else white that died, I don't think we hear nothing about it.
I don't know. I guess I feel where both of y'all are coming from. I definitely think Meek Mill needs to read the room more. Like, if you follow him on Twitter, you see a lot of times he just kind of spews off stuff and doesn't really, you can see there's not a lot of thought behind what he's saying at all. I guess why I differ at is, as far as like the people build bonds with people that they fuck with. Like, if something happened to Jay-Z, like, that would affect me probably more than, you know what I'm saying, the average celebrity, because I actually grew up off his music. I really feel in touch with his music. His art resonates with me in that level. So you almost feel a connection to him. Like when Uncle Phil died, I was sad about that. I still ain't really cool with people putting Uncle Phil bars and shit. Like, I guess for me, like, I don't think it's anybody that died, like them Chicago dudes that be doing that when they talking about smoking on packs and shit. Like, I don't think that shit right. I just feel like at the end of the day, if you put art out there or it leaks or whatever the case, people gonna have an opinion. Like we talked about it a few episodes back, as far as like, if you're an artist, you're putting your stuff out there for it to be interpreted and taken in by the public. So when the public has an opinion on it, I feel like the only thing different about now is just, instead of it being a conversation in the barbershops all across America, or a conversation at the gym or at the water cooler, now it's a conversation on Twitter or Instagram, because that's like the public forums for people to have those conversations now. I think if he had to just said the line, like I feel the creative part of it, like he was trying to think of a clever line, you know what I mean? And that's what came to him. I feel that part. But I think if he had to, like, after that, when he saw that people were bothered, or like that, some people were just hurt because they really rock with Kobe on that level or whatever. And they also think about the fact that, like, that lady or Vanessa Bryant and her kid got to still think about, like, that shit just kind of throws it in their face that their sister and their sister's friends and their dad died or whatever. So I think if he had just came out and been like, hey, man, you know, my bad, I didn't realize we're going to have this impact or whatever, or like had some type of tact afterwards. I think what really sent people up in the fire was the way he carried it after the fact. Like, after you see people bothered, instead of just saying, you know, hey, I thought it was a clever bar, I didn't know it was going to have this impact. Hey, you know, I ain't mean no offense. Even if he don't apologize, he just said, I ain't mean no offense or something. But the fact that he was like, it's shit like Zombieland, and he blaming it on people promoting a narrative. It's like, nobody promoted anything. You put, your song got leaked, people heard it, and they had whatever reaction they had to it. Like, I'm sure it's somebody out there that was like, oh, that was just a hot bar. But on the other hand, you still got other, like, you're a person that makes music and millions of people listen to your music. So I think it just go back to, like, for me, if you're an artist, whatever you put out there, you gotta realize that it may not have the impact that you necessarily intended in your heart, and be willing to kind of like face that backlash in a more tactful way. Like, I don't feel like kind of deflecting or dismissing it. You alienating a group of people that might be your actual fans that just didn't feel like that bar was cool. And now that might affect your album sales. It might affect the people who want to listen to you going forward. Like, to me, you could have handled it in a different way and kind of saved face and still been able to keep the bar if that's what you felt like, you know, you wanted to stand on it. But I think just the lack of tact that Meek shows in a lot of circumstances, like, it makes me wonder, is he like still stuck in the streets? Like, I guess, like, for me, like, if you're an artist and you get to a certain level, like, you out here screaming for prison reform and all this, like, how that's gonna go in these meetings with these people who may already have a stigma on you, and you keep reinforcing it every single day instead of showing any type of growth? Or, I don't know, man. Like, if the 21-year-old me would have probably been like, fuck it, because I was on some fuck everybody shit. But, like, as a grown man in my 30s, pushing 40, and just having a bit more, like, experience with just the world, I feel like he could have went about it in a different way, as opposed to, like, basically seeming like he was just basically saying fuck you to the family, fuck you to the people who are sad, and fuck everybody. Like, that was just the general vibe he kind of gave off.
Well, I hadn't heard nothing about none of this shit until tonight, and I had to ask you what the lyric was before we even started. So I don't really listen to Meek Mill's music too much anyway, but as far as being able to say what you want to say, I feel like, once again, just me personally, like I said, we talked a couple episodes ago about people and how they feel about celebrities and their connections to celebrities and how they personally feel. And we also spoke about family as well. Now, when it comes to family, family's gonna have emotions regardless. Something positive could be said, something, and they're gonna have some type of reaction. But when something negative is said, it's definitely gonna hurt harder, especially when your time to grieve hasn't passed. The public's opinion of what your time to grieve is gonna be always different than what your actual time is because each person grieves and heals in their own time. So it could be 20 years from now, and anything said about that man will still affect their family. Feel me? Like,
Yeah.
so there is no, we can't give a timeline of like, all right, too soon. No, you can't say it too soon because in many other situations, I'm not gonna say they might be dealing with someone's death, but may have somebody do a rap lyric about somebody who got raped in a case and whatever, but they're not talking about the victim. They're talking about the person who actually did it. Mm-hmm. But hiding that situation, aren't you also bringing emotions back for the person who got raped?
Yep, I don't think that's right either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But where's the public outcry for that? You feel me? Why is there no public outcry? So that's my instance. Like there's nothing wrong with people feeling how they feel. Like like I would say, to each his own. But keep it 100 all the way around. If you're gonna be upset about this lyric, make sure you scan out every lyric, so you can get upset every time there's a lyric somebody says something you don't like. Since we're all getting to the society is getting to the point where the littlest thing and how people feel can change something nowadays instead of actual factual information changing stuff. It's just like don't make it biased. Make sure we're spreading this feeling across the board all the way. And in most cases, it's not. Mm-hmm. That's where my only problem comes from. Like I said, feel how people grieve. I have nothing wrong with that. I can remember now my father's been gone for 20-some years, 30-some years now. But people still say something, I may get upset. So I totally understand from the fan perspective. As far as being a fan, me personally, I wasn't a Kobe Bryant basketball fan. I mean, I was one of them people that rooted against Kobe. I was one of them people and I'm going to say it, I didn't like Kobe because he was that damn good. I ain't going to say he wasn't good. Hey, he was the Black Mamba. He was that much shit. That's why I rooted against him. I wanted him to lose, but he was always going to win. You feel me? So, I mean, I don't take no joy in the lyric that I know about it, but I don't take no offense against it either. Just me being me. But that also comes with just my personality. But I can definitely say where Pat comes from as far as saying reading the room, and I definitely understand where you come from and saying he could have put more tact into it. But when it comes to tact, we got to look in the society we're in again. We're in an almost tactless society. So how much tact are these people expected to have? If we really hold them to no moral compass on a total across the board, you feel me? It's like society picks and chooses when they want to hold people up.
I think the simple fact that that same reason about what society pick and chooses is the main reason why he himself, for the sake of his own preservation, should have more tact reading the room. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm an artist myself, and I feel like the rules should be, as far as freedom of speech as an artist, there is no limits. There's no, you know what I'm saying? You can say whatever you want. But as for your own preservation of self, that's when you read the room and you say to yourself, hey, do I want to deal with the consequences of me saying this? Because there's no way possible I can say this particular idea or how I feel about it without some type of disagreement from society. There's no way. Like, I think with celebrities, a lot of times when they first hear something, they think it's probably like a small sector of haters that just want to rile up stuff or whatever. It's not until it gets into a bigger situation then they realize that, oh, this is the whole world saying this. Okay, so, and then that's when you see the little trickle down effect of like them gradually doing PR work on themselves, like, or whatever. Like, even at the end, even though, Meek didn't entirely say, hey, y'all were right, he still said, as a way of doing PR work. Hey, I talked to Kobe's wife, blah, blah, blah. Put this to the side. So as an artist, I'm still going to say what I got to say. Basically, really what he was saying is, I got all this work to do. There's no way possible I can go back and take that lyric out. Being that I know that I can't take that lyric out, I'm going to just have to stand by it because I done put a lot of money into it.
That's what I'm more looking for. Like, if you're going to say it, you got two options. Either have tact and think about, like, because what kills me is people like Meek Mill, they'll say this shit. They'll go on an apology tour or whatever. But then when their album sales come back and they got lower album sales or their single don't do what they thought it was going to do, then they'll complain about it. Like, if you're going to say it and you're going to stand on it, then stand on it 100% fully and take all the backlash. Take the loss of whatever endorsements feel like they want to pull out. Take the loss of the album sales, your tour not doing it, whatever the case may be. Like, take them losses like a man because you stood on it. Or be smart enough to say, all right, I know I don't want to lose this, this, and this, so let me go ahead and just have tact. Like, the simple, you saying that the tweet about, hey, I spoke to Kobe Bryant's wife, da-da-da-da. If you had said that when the lyric first came out and people first got upset, I feel like the conversation is a whole lot different today. But going on the not even the defensive, but the offensive, where you almost like antagonizing the people that are upset. Like, I don't see what that does for you if your goal is to sell records and make people want to listen to your shit. Like, I feel like alienating a fan base is just unnecessary unless you want to do that and you don't care. In which case, stand on that shit 100% and be like, I said it and what? But to do the weird after effect PR moves and shit, like, I just feel like you can't eat your cake and have it too, man. Like, you gotta make up your mind. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna just be ratchet and stand on all of that shit and take whatever comes from it, or are you gonna be tactful? You can't be halfway, because then it just come across disingenuous to both sides, and I feel like you just end up looking like an ass in the end.
Sometimes celebrities be testing their celebrity. Like, I put it, just see how far that celebrity would go. Just like a gangster will test his own gangster, but just to see, hey, am I going to be gangster enough to go through this? You know what I'm saying? They be testing their celebrity. They might not. I feel like unconsciously that's what they do.
I can see that a little bit, I guess.
Yep. You know,
dumb way to go about things, but I can see that.
Yeah.